Hi, I'm Dr. Judy Josephs, and this is History of Success. Return on investments, money talks, and in the case of university affordability, it could have a great story to tell. I would like to welcome my visionary guest, the 14th president of Salem State University, President John Keenan. President Keenan has close relationships with Governor Maura Healey and Assistant Governor, Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll. At Salem State, they announced an equity funding plan to make a strong commitment to make college affordable. Salem State University is in a transformational stage. President Keenan leads the only public four-year institution of higher learning on the North Shore. The theme of today's show highlights internships, clinical opportunities, and practicums, showing the university emphasis on career pathways and workforce development. President Keenan, tell us about yourself and in your own words, what's been happening at Salem State? Bring us up to date.
Great. Well, first and foremost, Dr. Joseph, thank you for having me on the show again. Always enjoy coming back here and sharing what's going on at Salem State, and greatly appreciate all that you do for Salem State and for the region with this show. So lots going on at Salem State, as you might imagine. This is a really busy time of year. We're about to celebrate two commencements on May 18th, 17th, and 18th, celebrating the success of our many students who've gone through Salem State over the last 4 years, as well as bringing in a new class. So we had a accepted students day for about 1,600 people on Saturday to bring in our class next year. So it's a very exciting time of year. And for me to be the 14th president of Salem State, I couldn't be more proud to lead my hometown university. In regards to return on investment, this is perhaps the best time, the most productive time of financial aid in the Commonwealth's history as a result of the Fair Share Act that was passed, as you may recall, last year, and required a significant amount of income to be distributed between transportation and public education. As a result of that, I'm very proud to say that Governor Healey and, yes, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, who is a very proud Viking, came to our campus in November to announce the historic amount of financial aid for our students, which essentially means that for all Pell eligible students, those of family household income of about $72,000 or less, essentially free tuition and fee to go to community college, to state university, and or to UMass. So that's a pretty exciting program, to not living on campus, but to being a commuting student to those campuses. So that's very exciting. And I would tell you, even moreover, at Salem State, we were just recognized by CollegeNet to be the most provide the highest ranking in terms of social mobility in Massachusetts, which means we take in students from the socioeconomically challenged communities such as Salem and Lynn, Chelsea, Revere, and give them the tools that they need to succeed in a profession and really advancing in terms of their success financially in a profession, in a high-paying profession. So we're thrilled by that. And again, for the dollar value, when we see that some of these universities in Boston are charging anywhere between $90,000 and almost $100,000, Salem State, you can go there again if you're a Pell eligible for free. And thereafter, a regular year at Salem State is about $12,000 as a commuting student and about $25,000 as someone who's living on our campus. So you can't beat the value, truly can't beat the value. And of course, our faculty are just outstanding.
Give us your perspective on this movement towards becoming Hispanic Serving Institute and a Minority Serving Institute.
Yeah, so we're excited about that development as well. Dr. Josephs, right now we have about 23% of our students who identify as Hispanic. The federal designation attaches to campuses that achieve a 25% level of student body population that identifies as Hispanic. And in many ways, Dr. Joseph, I see this as a natural evolution of what Salem State is all about. And that is, since 1854, our role has really been to provide educational opportunity for all, and for those especially on the North Shore. as our region continues to diversify and the growing demographic happens to be Hispanic, primarily in our region from the Dominican Republic, we are serving those students more and more. And as a result, over the last 10 years, we've seen that percentage go up and up and up. So we are putting services in place. We have Dr. Elisa Castillo. I don't know if she's been on the show yet, but
she has.
She's fabulous. She's leading our work. She's, as I understand it, from attending the conference of Excelencia down in Washington, D.C., in HACU, which is a Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities. We are the first college in Massachusetts to have someone at a senior level, such as Dr. Castillo, specifically leading the initiative around Hispanic serving and minority serving institution. So this will not only benefit all of our Hispanic students, this will benefit all the students on our campus as they have all the services in place, academic advising, mentoring, coaching, counseling, all those things that student may need to be successful will be in place so that we can successfully become the very first four-year university in Massachusetts to be an HSI, and ideally to be the first in the Commonwealth to actually achieve the seal of Excellencia, which means we're doing a great job in bringing those students in and making sure they graduate in a timely way.
Okay. Liberal arts skills, critical thinking, reasoning ability, presentation skills, and writing skills. Are they still valued in today's workplace?
Absolutely, and I couldn't say that more emphatically. It's interesting because, as you know, tomorrow we have an event for some business leaders to help develop our internship program. And often, as I do, I go to many chambers of commerce, the Lynn Chamber of Commerce, the North Shore Chamber, the Salem, the Beverly Chambers, to talk to business leaders about what their needs are. And it's interesting when they say, not necessarily the liberal arts, but they then go on to define the skills that they're looking for that you just talked about, which is the ability to write well and analyze problems and work in a team, which are all things that are developed through our very robust Gen Ed program and the humanities at Salem State. And when you talk to faculty as well, they know how important these skills are, no matter what your major is. Even if you're going on in a special program to be a professional program, a teacher or a nurse or a police officer, it's important to have these skills also. So we have a very strong Gen Ed program that you may be familiar with. We're actually revising it right now, 10 years after we first rolled it out, and it'll be even stronger going into the future to make sure that every student at Salem State has that foundation and the ability to work and analyze problems as they go into whatever their profession is.
Okay, in addition to internships, you also have clinical training, nursing, for example, clinical training. You have practicums and education. Yep. I know myself, I did a practicum at English High School, and I got a job actually teaching at Lynn English High School. So it was very important to me at that time. Can you explain a little more of that?
Yeah. So experiential learning is one of the top priorities of our new strategic plan that was just approved last year by the Department of Higher Education and by our Board of Trustees. And by experiential learning, I mean being an intern, having an internship in a business, being a student teacher, right, or being a nurse assistant, going in and doing your clinical at Salem Hospital. All those sorts of experiences. I, for one, when I was in college, I did an internship in Attorney General Bellatti's office, and that's what really sparked my interest in the law and going on to law school and going to become a state representative. So they are very important and often do lead to our very first job. And oftentimes as well, it'll make us realize that this might not be something that I want to do. So everybody benefits as a result of internships in terms of practical experience, in terms of the employer getting a chance to see if that student, that employee is a good fit. And as importantly, as I said, for that student to realize, hey, this is a field that I do want to pursue, and maybe I'll go on to graduate school, or maybe I'll do something else, or maybe I'll go to work here. So our goal is ultimately to make sure by the time people get through Salem State, whether you're a nurse or a teacher, or you're in social work, or you're a police officer, or you want to go into business, that everybody has at least one opportunity to have that sort of experience and develop those skills. As you know, tomorrow we have a big event to provide private philanthropy to support our internships. We are so pleased and honored that we have over 600 partners who have helped us fund almost 400 internships. And tomorrow is another way to, again, connect to the business community, ask what they're looking for, but as well to raise money so that we can make sure that everybody at Salem State that has an internship, that it's also a paid internship.
Okay. How will Salem State, you're expanding in that area, address workforce needs as part of the strategic plan, Meeting the Moment?
Yeah, we're thrilled about our Meet the Moment campaign. It began as a $50 million campaign to raise funds for financial aid, for capital projects on our campus, as well as all sorts of support services that we talked about, including for HSI. However, the big issue and most important, we've raised it up to $75 million because we've seen such early success with that and a willingness of business leaders and lots of alumni, 70,000 strong, have been supportive of our campaign. So as we move forward and we build out Project Bold, we'll see an increase in our ability to bring in upwards of 125 to 150 nursing students. Any of the reports that I read in the local economy, those areas of need are certainly healthcare, the life sciences, and certainly the social services. Those are all areas in dire need of new graduates to go on and to fill those slots, including teachers. And increasingly so, diverse teachers, so that you can come to Lynn or Chelsea or Revere or Salem and have a teacher in your classroom that's had the same lived experience as you have. So we do try to keep up with the data on the North Shore region and understand what the needs are. So the healthcare profession, we're making the investment of $100 million into Project Bold to completely renovate Horace Mann School, to make state-of-the-art sim labs for nursing and for occupational therapy. The beauty of the sim labs, Dr. Josephs, is you can get almost 50% of your clinical time as a nursing student now in a simulation lab. It enables you to be exposed to as many diagnoses as possible in your role as a nursing student. As well, we are putting on 6 new state-of-the-art labs, science labs, biology and chemistry and geology, on our Meyer Hall, which is our primary academic building. There'll be about a 20,000 square foot addition on the back end of that, and those will be state-of-the-art science labs. We teach, combined between healthcare studies and the physical sciences, we teach 25% of all those classes in the state university system. So we're excited about that. Then the last thing I'll tell you we're doing to meet the workforce needs of the region, and in particular specific skills that you just asked about, is we're creating a cyber range on our campus. Bridgewater State University has one down on the south coast, and we'll be the first up here on the North Shore. Now, a cyber range in many ways is like a sim lab that we have for nurses that they go in and get to experience real life situations. In a cyber range, our computer science students will be able to go in and experience a cyber attack and what they have to do to be able to mitigate or offset that or the challenges that come as a result of that. We all use technology today and know what the threat of a cyber attack on any business, whether it's higher ed, whether it's the banking profession, or whatever business you're in. So there's lots of demand for jobs in that sector as well as cybersecurity. So these are a couple of ways that we're meeting the workforce needs of the region.
Okay. Keeping up with in line with what industry needs today, what business needs today. Are curriculums kind of heading in that direction, the various majors at Salem State? They
are. All of our curriculum and our faculty are very attentive to the workforce needs of the region and making sure that their students have the skills, first and foremost, to be a good professional, right? To go out and whether you're a teacher or you're going to be a nurse or you're going to be a businessman, right? That you have the skills to adapt to that. But as well as making sure that our classes are what the students are looking for. I'll give you 2 quick examples that are indicative of our becoming a Hispanic serving institution. So our healthcare studies program, which was developed about 5 years ago as a result of some students who thought they wanted to be a nurse or go into the healing profession, realized that nursing may not have been for them and were looking for something else, and there are lots of jobs in a hospital besides being a nurse. So we decided when we had our students in healthcare studies in the hospital, they were bumping into students, some of our students in our world languages program that were using their Spanish skills. So we decided to combine them into a dual major. So now we have a healthcare study and Spanish major. which is, again, our faculty being really attuned to what the needs are of the community. And most recently, we just had another program approved, criminal justice and world and Spanish through the World Cultural Department to make sure, again, that our students have those skills. So whatever the need is in the economy and in the region, our faculty evolve and adapt to that. At our open house on Saturday, we had some of our faculty from the geology department and sustainability showing students about manipulating and using drones to do their work. And that's another area, right? Drones have become much more relevant in our economy today in the ability to track sustainability and erosion. So some of our students are excited about that too. So now we have a class in that. Again, I think our faculty do an outstanding job adapting to the needs of the workforce.
After graduation, the future of students, what partnerships are Salem State bringing in to help students to meet their future goals?
Yeah. So as part of the Meet the Moment campaign, as well as the Meet the Moment strategic plan, we do everything that we possibly can, including developing our strategic plan. As I said, we had a tour basically going to all the chambers of commerce here on the North Shore, including the North Shore Chamber of Commerce, the Workforce Investment Board, to really get an understanding of how they can partner with us. And as I said, we have almost 600 businesses in the region who provide some sort of either financial support or an internship at our Career Services Office, which again does an outstanding job partnering with the businesses in the region. I'm always walking around, as you know, Dr. Josephs, with a pocket full of cards and making sure that if someone has a need for something, I give that to them and then I connect them to our Career Services Office. So whether it's Salem Hospital, whether it's Thermo Circuits, whether there's any other business that Thermo Fisher that has issues or positions that they need filled, we do everything we can to make sure that we have a student with that skill set to be able to fill that spot.
I was at the accepted students this Saturday with mobbed. A great number of students. Had an opportunity to talk to them. Most popular majors at Salem State, the most popular majors that would lead to a career, maybe perhaps a little bit easier than others. What is most popular now at Salem State?
Probably not surprising. It more or less is our business program, psychology, nursing, criminal justice, and education, teaching. Those are our top 5 majors. The one that might surprise somebody most is perhaps psychology, but we do have a lot of students as well excited about that, many of whom want to go on and be school counselors. There's a huge demand, K through 12, in just about every school to have counselors available for students dealing with various issues. But those are our top 5 majors. Tonight we will have a business pitch. I call it the Shark Tank, if you will, of Salem State. And tonight we'll have, I think, 10 finalists who are going to 10 finalists that grew out of about 64 full teams to participate and come up with the best business plan. And again, they win a cash prize to be able to go forward and try to move that idea along. So business is our top major. Psychology that I talked about, certainly nursing. There's a huge demand on the North Shore. Our nursing program and our teaching program, we were founded as a normal school in 1854 to be able to educate public teachers.
And recent dedication.
Recent dedication, right? $10 million gift from Bill and Joyce Cummings, renaming our School of Education after Jane McEwen. So we have the McEwen School of Education. That's, again, another very popular major on our campus as we see the demand for educators in the region. And then the last one I mentioned was criminal justice of the top 5. And we have lots of students, lots of student athletes, in fact, who major in that as well and want to go on to be a police officer, a lawyer, and someone in that sector. So very excited about everything going on at Salem State.
And you recently also had an awards given for the theater production?
Outstanding theater production department. Something Rotten, I think, is our next production, the next 2 weekends. We had Roe about 3 weeks ago, which is about the Supreme Court decisions around choice and women's health care. But yes, we have a theater team that is just outstanding. And again, this year, I think, took 8 awards at the Kennedy Awards. And this month, actually, we'll be going down to Washington, D.C. To be in the finals. So if you get a chance, yes. If you get a chance, please come see one of our shows. It's fabulous. And I would say as well, our Sophia Center for Performing Arts is our most spectacular classroom at Salem State. We renovated it 5 years ago now for about $26 million.
Experiential learning. You've already stated some factors, some issues as well, but both inside the classroom and outside the classroom. If you have as much opportunity as you can to do hands-on,
Yep.
Can you give us some examples?
Yeah. So as I said, internships is certainly a big piece of that. Student research is another big piece on our campus. We will have Student Research Day coming up in May, and many of the students who, as their capstone project in their major, was able to do a particular subject area that was important to them. They'll all have the opportunity to have their posters and have anybody on campus come and ask them questions about it. It's something that I very much enjoy doing. Study abroad is another form of experiential learning that enables some of our students to get out of Massachusetts. Some travel domestically, some travel elsewhere. We had a whole group of students travel to Hong Kong. I know this summer we have some students going to Europe to study about World War II. So those are all sorts of experiential learning that really gives an added benefit to that in-classroom textbook sort of education that you get, wonderful education that you get at Salem State. This is an added piece to it that I think is a very important component of the sort of full education that you get at Salem State.
How will the Hispanic, Latinx labor force influence Salem State's opportunity to offer new initiatives and new programs possibly?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, the top 5 majors at Salem State, it's about the same for our Hispanic identifying students as well. So we'll continue to provide the supports that they need, whether it's academic counseling or mentoring, whatever the supports that they need to be successful. So we look at our data right across the board for everybody on campus, no matter where they come from, whether it's Salem or Lynn, Chelsea, Revere, Marblehead, Swampscott, out of state. We look at the data to see where we need to add additional help, either in our Center for Writing that provides additional assistance to students who may have a challenge writing a term paper, for example, or if there are other areas of challenge for some students, we try to put the tools in place to make sure that they can be successful. So, as I said, an important part of becoming a Hispanic serving institution is not just about enrolling a certain number of students, it's really about serving those students, and that's what we're trying to do.
Additional support if they need it.
Exactly.
Okay, nursing and occupational therapy, you have simulation labs. Can you explain exactly how they are used?
Yes, I can. So as I said, Project Bold is going to enable us to build new simulation labs, more simulation labs in the old Horace Mann building. But at the moment, we do have a simulation lab up on South Campus, where the nursing program is right now. And because of sometimes the challenges of finding clinicals for all of our nursing students, they're able in a controlled setting to interact or experience a patient that might be having a heart attack, maybe having a diabetic reaction or otherwise. So it really gives a controlled environment for our faculty who are outstanding to be able to work with a student in a particular situation. Where when you go and you're in a clinical at a hospital, you just don't know what's going to show up on that floor on that particular day. So this is a much more controlled way to make sure all of our students are exposed to all the things that they might see when they become a nurse or through occupational therapy.
Explain SSU's commitment to the sciences, biomedical, physical science, and the health professions. Science, we know, is very relevant in the world that we live in today. Can you explain SSU's commitment?
I can, and I will say, as you know, I was a former state representative up on Beacon Hill when Governor Patrick created the biotech sector at a huge investment of $1 billion. Governor Baker followed up with that with biotech, if you will, 2.0, and Maura Healey, Governor Healey, just recently made another $1 billion investment into the biotech industry here in the Commonwealth. Very proud of that. And we, as a university and the only public on the North Shore, feel it's our obligation to make sure the biotechnology sector here on the North Shore, which is very robust. There's lots of biotech companies, large biotech companies that have settled and grown on the North Shore, to make sure that they have students who are able to, on day one, make a difference in their employment. So, as I said, the biggest investment we've had in a very long time, $100 million in SSU Bold, will enable us to make sure that those students have the skills to be successful in the biotech sector, as a nurse, in the healthcare sector. There are lots of jobs in this economy, in this region, in terms of research, in terms of pharmaceuticals, in terms of manufacturing some of the pharmaceuticals. Lots of opportunities for jobs there. So we're very excited about making this $100 million investment. And again, it's another major plank in our strategic plan.
New England colleges, and we have a number of them.
We do.
Tufts, BU, Wellesley. Recently, the Boston Globe stated that the cost of going to those schools, $90,000. It includes housing, it includes books, supplies, and tuition, but $90,000. How does Salem State, in the area of affordability, pair up with them?
Yeah, as I said, we are thrilled by the fact that the Mass Grant Plus expansion that Governor Healy announced will make it virtually free for a commuting student who's Pell eligible to come to Salem State next fall. There have been some challenges with the FAFSA, the Federal Financial Aid for student assistance, but we're working very hard with our financial aid team to make sure that everybody has the information that they need to make good decisions. But when you compare Salem State, which is, again, for a good portion, almost 40% of our students who are Pell eligible will be free next year as a commuting student, compared to $40,000 or $45,000 per semester at some of these institutions in Boston. And again, nothing against them.
Nope.
We are proud to be the education state.
Yes.
We have the most highly educated workforce in the country, right? Of any state.
Right.
But for it to really be the tool that it should be, the great equalizer, as Horace Mann said, right? It needs to be accessible and affordable to everybody. And Massachusetts and Governor Healy and Lieutenant Governor Baker and the entire legislature should be extremely proud as the amount of the investment that they are making in our public education system. And our partners in the community colleges that also announced last year the Reconnect program, which is education free for anybody 25 or over that wants to go back to school. And now with the Mass Grant Extension Plus, that enables students to come to community college, Salem State, or UMass as a commuting student, essentially for free if you're a Pell eligible student. We ought to be really proud of that. And again, all of that is a result of the money that came from the Fair Share Amendment just a couple of years ago.
Your vision for Salem State University.
I hope you have a sense of my vision by now, right?
Yeah.
Project Bold is very important to our strategic plan, becoming an HSI and doing the best we can to serve all those students in this region who want an excellent education and to go on and have change the trajectory of their lives and that of their family, as well as experiential learning. If there are three things that I could complete in the next several years as president of Salem State, in our strategic plan, those would be the things. That's my vision for Salem State and how I think we will overcome some of the challenges regarding demographics and the headwinds in higher ed.
Your challenges personally as president of Salem State University.
My challenge?
Challenge.
I wish some days I had a clone. As I said, it's a very busy time of year to get to be everywhere on campus and to be everywhere in the community. But again, I'm thrilled. I am so proud and fortunate to have this role and to be able to, in some small way, play a piece as these students achieve and realize their full potential at Salem State. Advice
to students who are thinking about going on to further education with the many challenges they may face.
Yeah, my advice is give it a chance. Right, give it a chance and find if Salem State or another campus is a fit for you. But what I would say is, don't be intimidated by the cost. Salem State and the Commonwealth has some of the most affordable education anywhere in the country right now, and have all the support that you need to be successful. So I'd say my advice to everybody paying attention to this show, give it a chance and come and give us a talk.
I would like to thank my visionary guest, President John Keenan, for his work in moving Salem State University forward, providing new initiatives and building high-value skills into the curriculum, aligning program offerings with opportunity, and ensuring that more students have opportunities for work-based learning, for example, paid and unpaid internships, clinical opportunities, and practicums leading to career pathways, leading the charge towards change.